This is Steve Zeltzer with WorkWeek, and joining us today is Kaliepee Svarnna, and she is a teacher in the island of Crete. And there have been some very important struggles of the teachers in solidarity with the Palestinian people and against the genocide. So welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, Steve, and to all your viewers. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak out about what is currently happening in my country, in Greece, and the island of Crete, as far as the struggle for free Palestine is concerned.
So why don't you talk about you as a teacher and other teachers and how you've been organizing in Crete, because there have been thousands of people involved in this movement against the genocide. What brought you and other teachers and workers to organize in Crete to support the Palestinian people?
In the last few months, the movement for free Palestine has been growing rapidly here in my country. Over the last few weeks, in three Greek islands, in Syros, Rhodes, and Crete, and specifically in Agios Nikolaos town, major protests have taken place in order to demonstrate against the dockage of the cruise ship Crown Iris, which is bringing Israeli tourists in Greek islands for leisure during the ongoing tragic genocide. Unfortunately, the schools are closed here, but a lot of people, sensitive and conscious people of all ages, from children to elderly, activists, members of trade unions like teachers, extra-parliamentary communist parties, such as the Communist Liberation, in which I belong, anarchists, the Greek Palestinian community, the initiative Mar to Gaza in Greece, the initiative BDS of Greece have organized all these mobilizations.
And these tourists that come from Israel, does that include IDF members, people in the military in Israel?
Yes, they are Zionists. They destroy people's stores as far as they support Palestine. They are Zionists, and they manifestate it. We do not want murders of innocent children in Greece. In addition, recently we have read that the 87% of the people of Israel, the majority, are in favor of the Palestinian genocide. There are not excuses. There is no minority who, these tourists are not the minority who support Palestinians. All Israeli people who support Palestinians are under suppression or are in prison. They are in prison. They are not in a cruise ship in the Greek islands, of course.
So when these protests take place, how do they take place, and do they try to stop you from protesting, the police, the government?
Yes. We were confronted hard suppression. We were forbidden to march at the harbor and throughout the city of Agios Nikolaos. Despite our constitutional rights to freedom of speech and movement being violated, since the police attacked us with chemicals without provocation while we were peacefully assembled on a central road, our message was sent loud and clear. In addition, during July, the Union of Sailors, with the supports of activists, anarchists, and communists, blocked containers with military steel for Israeli war purposes in Piraeus port. We have a hard suppression in all these cases, but we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop.
And what did the Israeli tourists do that has offended the people in Greece? You said that they act in a way that is disrespectful of the Greek people?
In many cases, they have manifested the symbols of their country. They have ejected swords against us. They were yelling at us that they are fond of Turkey, and they destroy at the stores at the Greek stores whose where there are clear signs that they are in favor of Palestine.
Oh, so in other words, they attack the stores where the store owners have symbols in support of the Palestinian struggle. So
Yes,
they target they did
yes,
target supporters in Greece of Palestine.
yes. Yesterday we have an incident in Agios Nikolaos town. He smashed in a store, and he was very violent towards people inside the store.
What did he do?
He smashed things, and he wanted to do harm to the people who were inside, the Greeks, who were in favor for Palestine.
So he's trying to intimidate the Greek people who are in favor of Palestine.
We were bullied in the harbor of Agios Nikolaos by the Israeli tourists. We were bullied. They didn't want us to have a Palestinian signs at all.
And what has been the reaction of people in Greece to these Zionist attacks?
We Greeks do not stand with the Greek government, not with the major part of Greek capitalists who maintain close partnership with Israeli capital in the field of economy. These tourists probably are soldiers that the Israel state offered them a travel for leisure after they did what they did in Palestine. We have data for this, like Nazis who were traveling after what they did.
And what is the role of the Greek government? I mean, Israel has been accused and is in trial for committing genocide. It's massacring the Palestinian people. It's committing a pogrom in the West Bank. So it is, and with the support of the United States, the U.S. government is helping this genocide and pogroms. What is the role of the Greek government in relationship to this genocide?
Additionally, Greece had good relationship with the Arabs, but the last 15 years, this situation has changed radically. According to the report of the Office of Economic and Commercial Affairs of the Greek Embassy in Tel Aviv on the economy of Israel and the development of economic and commercial relationships between Greece and Israel, we have many numerous top examples of important Israeli companies that have invested or have synergies with private or government agencies in Greece in many sectors, in the sectors of real estate, in sector of industry of tourism, and in we have a very close military collaboration. I have many examples to refer to you in many fields. For example, Greek Air Force has been training Israeli pilots in the military base of Kalamata in southern Greece. Israeli companies which construct weapons have bought out Greek ones. Greek refineries export gas oil to Israel. Also, about 10,000 Israeli people have obtained the so-called golden visa by purchasing real estate in very high prices in Greece, which grants them free movement in Greece as if they were Greek citizens. These people who are guilty of the ongoing genocide have a certain shelter in our country, should the war gets worse for the Israel. Also, in the days of the brief Israel-Iran war, critical Israeli air forces, along with the presidential vessel, were here present in Greece. So our country is not just supportive of Israel in the Palestinian war of genocide, it also offers the necessary strategic depth that it does not have in the case of a full war escalation. We're talking about a very close military collaboration, very close, the relationships are very deep. As far as the energy is concerned, it's interesting that the Greek bourgeois considers that it will ensure the exclusive support of Greece on the USA against Turkey. simply by pointing out that Turkey will drill itself through a state company. As far we're talking about the extractions of Mediterranean Sea, the undersea deposits, while Greece will give the lion's share from the deposits to Chevron, to the American Chevron, American company Chevron, and other sisters companies. We have a harsh competition on the sector of energy between Turkey on the one hand, and on the other hand, the bourgeoisies of Israel, Cyprus, Egypt, and Greece bourgeoisie, Greek bourgeoisies. We have a harsh competition on the energy.
And the government of Greece, they still support relations with Israel. So Israel has an embassy and normal relations with Greece.
Not normal relationships, exceptional relationships. It's outstanding, the investments in tourism and real estate, direct investments from Israeli capital in Greek real estate reaches about 700 million euros. This data is from 2022.
And that's a big amount of money in Greece.
Yes, that's why, of course, if we want to speak truth, Greek government aligns with the USA government and the leaders of the European Union, because Israel couldn't afford this war without the strong support of the government of USA and the leaders of the European Union, of course.
And the Greek government apparently is also militarily arming. The United States is demanding that other governments around the world, pro-US governments, increase their military spending to 5%. Is the United States doing the same thing in Greece, demanding the militarization in Greece?
Of course, because almost all the Greece have American bases, especially in Crete. We have a military base in Suda. We have in Larissa, in Central Greece. We have in Kalamata, southern Greece. We have in Alexandroupolis, near the borders with Turkey. All Greece have been transferred to an American military base.
What do the people of Greece think about these military bases, US military bases in Greece?
They don't feel safe anymore. They don't feel safe for being an ally to the United States of America. They are very afraid of what will happen in the American bases in Crete in case of the war gets worse. They want the bases out of the country. We don't want bases. We have demonstrated against the American military base in Greece every year. We are protesting in Suda.
And are the unions active? Is the education teachers union active in opposition to bases, opposition to the war, and opposition to the genocide?
Yes, especially the trade unions, the primary trade unions, who are in the base of the teachers and very close to the students. High level, upper level unions, trade unions of teachers are more bureaucratical. They neglect. They are very indifferent to the genocide. The primary trade unions are more energetic and they organize major protests against the genocide of Palestinians.
Were there union contingents in the demonstrations against the Israelis in the island?
Yes, but the unions of the teachers, not so much, because it is summer and the schools are closed, and it's not very convenient for us to gather our people. But from September, in 1 month, I think that we will go on many strikes with such demands.
And also the issue of privatization, attacks on teachers, attacks on public workers. What is going on with the attack on yourself and other teachers and public workers in Greece?
If I have to describe the situation of public education in Greece nowadays, I would say that we experience a hard and unprecedented repression. that the movement for free public education for all students, especially the non-privileged ones, keeps on putting up a great fight against the privatization of public school. After decades of struggle and many, many strikes, Greek teachers are still opposing to neoliberal politics for education. The government, by prosecuting teachers who are against the private schools, who are in favor of the public school, by enforcing the so-called assessment policies on the under-resourced public schools, by underfunding public schools, by not hiring teachers, aims at destroy free public education, exactly such as Margaret Thatcher did in Great Britain in 80s, such as Presidents George Bush Jr. and Barack Obama did recently, and now President Trump does continue to do this by abolishing the Ministry of Education, as we heard.
And what do people in Greece and workers in Greece think about Trump? Are they worried about fascism, the rise of fascism in the United States and internationally?
For the elections, they had the illusion that Trump would stop the war in Central Europe, in Ukraine. Now they see that the major part of capitalists who support Trump do not want to stop the war. USA government is in very difficult position because they can control their leadership in the world, in the field of the economy. We have China rising, India, the BRICS in general. So people in Greece don't feel very happy about this, don't feel very safe about President Trump and his policies.
And the threat of nuclear war, Greece has always been, in the middle of these dangers of war. In the Second World War, I mean, there was a tremendous attack on the Greek people by the Nazis, and then the role of the United States was central in keeping a capitalist government in Greece. What do Greek people think about this growing danger of world war and inter-imperialist rivalry?
Well, Greek people now stand with the Palestinians, complying this way with the international law and demand justice. They do not want a nuclear war, of course. They think that Palestinians deserve a free country, and historically, we must say that the Greek working class during the 20th century has fought fiercely against the Nazis, the fascists, and all kinds of imperialists, especially in Crete. Now the enemy is Israel and its genocidal politics. The enemy is the capitalists of America, the capitalists who run the European Union, and the Greek working class are ready to fight against them again.
And how do you see building internationalism? I know in the United States, there is a growing anger about these raids, the ICE raids, the terrorism, kidnapping people on the streets. These are fascist tactics. There's a growing threat of mass prisons. They just passed a bill for $170 billion for more prisons in ICE, more terrorism against the working class. It seems like there's an international need for an international movement of workers in Greece, the United States, all over the world, uniting together against these threats.
Yes, it's very clear for us that will be in need for a new communist party all over the new communist parties in all over the world in order to fight for this goal. Because without a communist party, what socialism are we're supposed to build? Here in Greece, the extra-parliamentary Communist Party, we fight for this, to build a relationship with communists or left-wing people in other countries.
Is there a working class party, a mass working class party in Greece? I know in the United States, main parties are the Democrats and Republicans. There is no mass working class political alternative in the United States. Does that exist in Greece?
The movement during Syriza arise. Syriza was a social democratic party, had some hopes that the situation would change, especially during the pneumonia, the so-called pneumonia, austerity policy about the economy. But these illusions, these hopes didn't meet the reality. So people now are seeking shelter to communist parties in Greece, like the formal communist party, which is in parliament. But lately, we have concentrated the people around extra parliamentary communist parties in order to start a movement against the Greek government.
And the effect of these protests, have that encouraged and strengthened the working class movement in Greece, this movement for Palestine?
I think that these protests for Palestine give hope to the workers for their own lives, because we fight for freedom, from education, from free countries, for health care, in all countries, and for national for all the workers all around the world. While we're protesting for Palestine, we're protesting and for our own rights in Greece here, for our own rights to be free to speak, to protest, to go on a strike without being imprisoned or going or to be prosecuted because we're on a strike. Because lately the Greek government prosecute teachers for participating in strikes.
They prosecuted teachers for participating in strikes?
There has been a law that says that strikes are illegal because they cause troubles in the government. Of course, strikes are made for cause trouble. So government created a law that says that strikes of teachers are illegal.
So how many people are being charged with these going on strike? And is there a defense campaign for these teachers?
About 500, 800 teachers. And during the summer, they are prosecuted during the summer with the schools closed for the strike. They had participated in a few months ago.
And what do they want to put the teachers in jail and fire them? Is that the plan, to get rid of the militant teachers?
We are bullied that we are going to get fired if we don't. If we are in favor of a public free school, if we are against private schools, they will fire us, or they will be deprived of our wages.
So do you have a defense committee going, a defense campaign for these teachers who've been charged for
We have
violating
a very
law
good
by
law.
striking?
Yes, we have. Fortunately, we have very good lawyers who stand by us, the educational movement. But we think, communists think that the only answer is the answer of the working class. Protests, general strikes is the only answer to the government. The answer will not be in the court, in the law court. It will be in the roads outside the court.
And you say that there's a growing movement for a general strike. How is that happening and how is that taking place in Greece?
People do not live well at all at Greece. We have very high taxes here. We have hospitals who are dismantled. We have no doctors. We have no schools. We have no building for schools. Buying all the necessary products for an everyday life, products are very expensive in Greece. The rents are very expensive. People is forced to do 3 or 4 jobs, to work all day in order to to make a living, to get food for their children. Young people don't get a job here.
So the future is threatened. The future for young people is threatened, and the entire population.
Yes, many students of mine have forced themselves to go abroad in order to get a job. Because here in Greece, the situation is very difficult. They don't pay well, they can't find easy jobs.
And this takeover of Greece by the European community, the Bank of Greece was shut down, and now it's Europe runs. The EC runs Greece economically. Greece is controlled by the EC, by the Germans, and
we are not a free country. We are not a free country. And of course, one great demand, one crucial demand on behalf of the communists is outside of the European Union. We don't want to be there anymore. With European Union destroyed Greek economy.
How did it destroy the Greek economy?
They forced, yes, with policies, they destroyed our agriculture by their policies. Many scandals are many economic scandals are related to the European Union, with money that were granted in Greece by the European Union, and the loans that that they have made to take these loans from them in order to be economically, I can't find the word.
Dependent on the EC.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. All these loans, all these decades.
And the issue of privatization in the United States in education is a big issue because the capitalists want to have vouchers. They want to destroy public education, and they have charter schools. Is that a danger in Greece? Privatization and charter schools?
Yes. Well, whatever had happened in America the last 5 decades, Greek government tries to apply this here in Greece. What Margaret Thatcher did in Great Britain in the 80s, Greek government tries to apply this here in Greece. So many decades, Greek teachers with their strikes and their struggle had made the government not to apply this. We have many wins in this sector. We didn't allow them to privatize the public schools, but now things are very difficult. We are being prosecuted. Strikes are illegal. In Greece nowadays. We can't be on strike anymore.
They're trying to crush the working class, crush their ability to fight back by repression.
Yes, by harsh repression. Or you can get fired, you can be imprisoned, you can be deprived of your wages.
Well, it seems like this is an international struggle. The struggle of the Greek workers, Greek teachers, is similar to the struggle of workers in the United States. So it's a commonality, a need for unity and education with Greek and American workers. So I want to thank you for joining us. We've been talking with Kaliepee Svarnna, and she's a teacher in the island of Greece, Crete, rather, and she's been taking up the struggle in defense of the Palestinians and against the genocide. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Last but not least, we call for international solidarity and common action in the pursuit of these goals. To the American people, to fellow teachers and workers, we stand for you and we call for international solidarity and common action.
Thank you very much for the interview.